Alright, so I'm going to be showing you how to open up and disassemble this HP. This is a model, where is it? Here you go. Oh, 15-bl112dx. Alright, we're going to be using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver to remove the screws from the bottom. Alright, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right, if you can help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I do have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. If you could subscribe to that one, that would really help me out as well. Same profile picture, but zoomed in. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing all these screws. I like to keep all the screws in order because they can be, and they are, different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the power and I remove them. The two here were longer than these two here. Alright, I don't know if there's any hidden screws in here. There might possibly be underneath these rubber feet, but I guess we'll find out once we go to try and pop the bottom cover off. Because there are two screws here. I don't think there's going to be screws hidden here since there's nothing else here. But yeah, we won't know until we try and pop this off. Alright, let's go ahead and actually take this SD card out just in case it's in the way. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and try with my fingernails on the gap here and then push with my thumb on the palm rest. Okay, like this, and see if we can pop some clips. You can see actually this is popping out already. Alright, so actually that came out relatively easily. You don't want to actually push on the touchpad, trackpad, so be careful with that. Okay, and now we got up to here, and there might be some screws hidden under here. I'm not sure because the rubber here is pretty solid, so I don't know. It doesn't seem to want to move, but again, it's kind of awkward not having a screw all the way in this corner when there's nothing else there. So my guess is there is a screw under here, but it's not going to be easy to remove. Let's try and do it with one of these plastic tools first, to avoid marking up anything, but I don't know. Alright, looks like we're getting underneath here. I don't know. This foot seems too solid to be able to pop out. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think... Uh-oh. Okay, so that looks like it's just a plastic disc there. So I guess we are going to have to just pop this out. I'm going to have to put some super glue or something to keep that rubber foot from separating or anything, but I don't know because this doesn't seem to want to move. Can I slide it at all? I'm trying to push this forward while I try and slide this, but nothing is happening. Do I need to use more force to try and remove the little rubber foot? Maybe there is a screw under here, I don't know. But this, does it come out? Okay, it does come out. So I'm assuming you're not supposed to separate this from here, so I'm gonna put a little super glue here and try and stick it back down. But yeah, you do need to remove these little feet. Okay, so we're gonna put a little super glue and hopefully that will stick it down and hopefully it won't get on everything. But okay, stick that. Oh, gotta be careful because I don't want that glue to get on me or other stuff. Okay, so there are hidden screws underneath here. Alright, so we're gonna try and stick this down. Usually super glue doesn't work well with plastic, so I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try and wipe the excess off here. Hopefully that didn't stick to my fingers. I might have gotten some on my fingers, but okay. Alright, I don't know if that's staying stuck on, but we'll set that aside. Okay, so we do need to lift this other side as well. It's tricky to get under this, but okay, lift that and then make sure that you lift up underneath the plastic circle disc, which is also difficult. Okay, so there we go. All right, now we're going to be using a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to get those out. I know somebody's going to complain and be like, oh, you should have like tried it and did it beforehand so you didn't have to like waste time. We didn't have to waste time watching your video of you figuring it out. All right, I don't want to have to take apart a laptop multiple times to make a video, so. All right, anyways, here's the other screw. We'll take that one out. Now we should be able to lift the cover off, wiggle it, okay, pull it down towards you, so slide it that way, and there we go, we got the bottom cover off. So the customer said they spilled coffee in here, and they said it spilled around this area. Oh no, that's where the SSD is, right? I think they said when it was flipped over, it spilled on this side, so we'll find out. All right, so here it is with the bottom cover off. There you go. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery now. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that. Okay, it has little wings, so you would usually go with the wings and then just wiggle it as you pull. Man, I cut my nails short, so it's making it a little bit more difficult than usual, but there we go. We disconnected the battery. They said that they actually spilled on this a couple days ago, and they tried plugging it in and turning it on, so they might have completely fried the board, but let's go ahead and take the battery out and see if we see any noticeable liquid that got inside. Okay. Go. There's that. Those two screws. Again, keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. Get that out. This one. This one. This one. All right. And there we go. All right, now that we've got all those screws out, we should be able to lift the battery out. Battery model number, if you need a replacement, is KB06XL. All right, there you go. We'll set that aside. Okay, so far, I don't see any coffee in this area. All right, after disconnecting the battery, it's always a good idea to open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. They did say it spilled into this area, which is where the power button is, so that has me a little bit worried. Okay, again, hold the power button for about 15 seconds since we disconnected the battery. I believe on this model, the battery also acts as the CMOS, BIOS, RGC, real-time clock battery. So keep that in mind. Your date and time is going to get reset. Oh wait, actually, there's a separate CMOS, BIOS, RGC, real-time clock battery here. So never mind, it won't reset. Okay, or it shouldn't. All right, unless that battery's dead. We're gonna flip that latch up here, and then we can go ahead and pull this cable out. I just want to check, since this is the area where the coffee spilled. Okay, I want to see if anything, actually, there's some residue there. Okay, we might not be in luck. Customer might be unlucky. We're gonna peel this cable away. We're gonna flip this latch up, and we're gonna take this cable out. And the connection seems fine, so that residue is not actually gonna affect anything, but that might mean it actually poured all in through here and destroyed stuff. So let's get this screw out. Okay, we'll pull the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD out. Do we see any gunk here? I'm not sure if this is glue or coffee residue. I think it might be coffee residue, at least down here, actually. No, is it glue? Okay, that might be glue because there's stuff all over up here. Huh. I'm curious now. I need some... Let me get some isopropyl alcohol on a paper and then see if I can wipe that up. I'm just going to get a tiny piece of paper here and just a tiny bit of isopropyl alcohol in it. And I just want to see if I can wipe. I don't know if you can see that stuff there. I want to see if that's coffee residue or is it glue. It's not wiping off, so I think it might actually be glue. Okay, so they might be lucky because I don't see, it doesn't smell like coffee. I smell coffee all over the laptop, but I don't smell coffee from the SSD, so they might be lucky. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this thing out because this is the power button. They said it wasn't turning on, so if they're lucky, it might just be this board is dead and they might need a replacement. So hopefully this will come out. There's some adhesive over here, which it might be making it so I can't just pull this thing off. Yep. All right, and here we go. I don't think there's coffee in the power button either, so... Oh, I do smell a tiny bit of... There's a faint bit of smell of coffee there, but... I don't know. I don't really see any residue or anything on here. The bottom of the button has some coloring on it, but I don't think that's from coffee. So we'll set that aside for now. Okay, and... I don't know. It's so far seeming okay. Maybe their computer got a temporary short and it just disconnected itself. I don't know. They might be lucky. We'll see. I might have to just do a whole power drain reset. Let's actually disconnect the CMOS BIOS battery. We just go close to the tail. Okay, it would help to use like a small tool like this. And you get as close to the bottom of that connector as possible and then just pull it up like this. You see how I'm twisting this tool to pry it and get it up like that. There's actually a little hole in there that that's where you lift it from. Okay, so yeah, now we have the BIOS battery disconnected. All right, it's a CR2016W 3-volt battery. All right, let's see. Excuse me. All right, there's like all these dust crumbs and everything from underneath falling into from out of the laptop. All right, we're gonna get under here. I can't use my index finger because I was playing pickleball, and then the other guy, he was going for the same ball and smacked my finger, and look, it's like bruised now. That fingernail might fall off. All right, anyways, we're gonna go under here and pop this up. This is to check the RAM. Okay, we're gonna go all the way under here. Alright, and can we pop this out? Why is it stuck? I should not have cut my nails so short. Alright, I was trying to just shorten it a tiny bit, but I over shortened it, and now it's hard to get this kind of stuff open. Okay, so here we go. You can see there are 2 slots for RAM here. You can pull these 2 tabs aside, pop one out, and let's just take a look. This is PC4 2666V. It's an 8 gig stick, so very likely 2 8 gig sticks for a total of 16. To put it back, go at an angle, push it in all the way. I like to wiggle it while I'm doing that and then click it down. Right, that's to make sure that it's all the way in. Yep, this is also 8 gig, same thing. All right, so same thing, wiggle, click it down. I don't see any signs of liquid damage here. Let's go ahead and start disconnecting some cables. All right. So SD card slot here, we're gonna flip this latch and then pull this cable out. So this is for the SD card reader. This is the keyboard backlight. This, after you flip that latch, you have to pull the cable slightly up and then pull it out because it has these wings. All right, so do that. Keyboard connector here, flip that latch up and then pull this back. Oh, does this also have wings? Yep, so pull the tab slightly up and then pull it back. Just like that. Touchpad, trackpad connector here. Flip that latch up. Why is it not going? Flip. There we go. All right, and then we can pull this guy. Is it held in with adhesive? It might be. So the bottom here, I think, is held with adhesive, so I'm going to use this little pokey stick to pull just the top portion back. All right, we got this connector here for, what are these, volume buttons on the side? Oops, sorry. Can't even see. I think these are for volume buttons. We'll flip this latch up, and then we'll pull this cable out. Okay, this one isn't held down with adhesive. All right, we already disconnected that. We got a speaker cable connector here, so we're gonna have to grab that and wiggle it. Oh, that's gonna be difficult. I'm gonna use these needle nose pliers to kind of grab it. It'll be easier, and then just wiggle it. Don't try and just yank it out. It works better to wiggle it like this, okay? I'm gonna use my finger here to push it slowly while I'm kind of just wiggling it. And wow, that's really stuck in there. Wiggle, oh my God. Okay, I guess I should. Why is it not coming out? It's like the needle nose pliers keep slipping. I'm worried I'm gonna break this connector. Okay. It doesn't want to come out. This is like very tough for some reason. So I'm gonna get my fingernail between that portion and the other portion. Actually, can you even see? Okay, because the pliers aren't working well, and that actually worked better. Okay, I accidentally smushed up the plastic there a little bit. All right, anyways, the fan connector is the same as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery, but I don't think I need to remove this because I'm gonna leave the heatsink attached there. So let's zoom out here, and then we'll just undo screws and we'll lift the motherboard, logic board, whatever you want to call it, out here. Okay, we just want to see. All right, oh, actually, we're gonna have to disconnect some other cables here first. So let's see, anything else here I'm gonna have to show you guys. All right, let's zoom in. There's some little cables here, LCD, LVDS connectors over here. Flip that latch, and then you can go ahead and kind of lift and pull this back. It's gonna be tricky because there's not much room here, but there we go. All right, what else? I'm gonna move this over to the side. Got the wireless antennas here. All right, I don't know if there's two different colors. I'm gonna just color one. So we'll color this one since it has the black arrow, just darken that. All right, and I'm gonna use this little pokey stick. We're gonna go under the tail of the antenna and then just pull it straight up. Let's see, can I do it with this end? It'll be easier. And there we go. Actually, should I just pull the wireless card off? There's one screw there. I'm gonna just take the wireless card off. This hurts with my smashed fingernail. All right, we put that antenna back in. Let's see if we can just pull the wireless card out of the way. There's one screw there holding it. Undo that screw. This, you lift it up slightly, and then I use this raised portion here to kind of just go side to side like that and wiggle that out. And there's the wireless card removed. Okay, I'm gonna actually put the screw in, leave that in that hole so we don't mix it up or lose it. We don't need to tighten it all the way, just a little bit. Okay, then we got this connector here, which is most likely for like the webcam and microphones or something. Okay, let's go ahead and peel this adhesive up. And then we're gonna go ahead and, you see this little portion, it has like a little raised lip. So I'm gonna use this to kind of get in that raised portion and use that to help pull that connector back. There we go. What else? I think we didn't disconnect everything we needed to. We have to disconnect this speaker down here as well. Again, I'm just gonna use my fingernails here because the needle nose pliers didn't work too well last time. So I just got my fingernails in between the little gap there and then pulled that back. All right. Again, I don't know how people do this without fingernails because you'd have to use some other tools that are similar. But people keep telling me to cut my fingernails, and when I do, I always regret it. I don't cut it because people tell me to. I cut them because they're too long, and then I accidentally cut them too short. Okay, so I don't care if people complain about my long fingernails. They make my job easier. I'm not going to cut them to make other people not like, I don't know why it upsets them that I have long fingernails. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and get the screws out that are holding the motherboard down. So you got these. They have little arrows that actually point to where the screws were, and they actually label M2L35. Is that 3.5 or 35? I don't know. 3.5. I'm assuming that's like the width is 2 millimeters, and then the length is probably like 3.5 or I don't know. I don't think it's 35 in length. Okay, so we got that out. What else? The fans. Are there hidden screws under here? I always hate when companies use all these adhesives to hold stuff together, especially when they're unnecessary. Yep, there's a hidden screw under there. Okay, so don't forget to take that out. Okay, got another screw here. All right. We're probably going to have to unroute the speaker cable here because we're going to have to lift the thing up. So unroute that. Okay. Oh, the fans come out separately, I guess. So actually, let's go ahead and disconnect that. Okay, so again, like the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery, get underneath there, hold the board down, and then we're just lifting up the part in the middle. Make sure you're not lifting up this connector itself. You don't want to rip that off the board, okay? So hopefully now we can take this fan out. Yep, we can. Nice, very easy. Okay, now we're going to continue working our way over. I'm going to have to zoom out a bit more. Hopefully you guys can see everything. It's a little bit tricky trying to keep track of what I'm recording for so you guys can see. We got this screw there. Okay. Any other screws I need to remove? Make sure to undo this cabling for this speaker as well. Okay. We'll get this out. Some people ask me, what do they do if they don't have fingernails? I mean, unless something happened to your fingers that fingernails don't grow, you could always just wait until you have fingernails. Or you'll have to figure out some way to get a tool that will work like my fingernails. I don't know. Anyways, we got those screws out. We do have to take this out as well. So let's go ahead and get these fan screws out. Okay, I don't know if there's any hidden screws in the middle of the board somewhere that I'm missing, but if there are, then we'll find out soon. All right, so same thing underneath that connector. Make sure to hold the board down and then pop that out. There we go. All right, how can people hate fingernails? All right, so now we can lift this up. It was for some reason hard to lift this. Maybe I was trying to pry up this metal portion, but there you go. You can see the board is now lifting up. Hopefully we're not missing anything on this side, because this side doesn't seem to want to lift up the same way. Are we missing something here? Are there hidden screws? Don't tell me there are some hidden screws under here somewhere. Let's peel this guy up some more. Are they hiding stuff under this plastic? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, this piece is tearing here. That's not good. What a bad design. Or maybe that's a good design according to HP so they can know that you peeled stuff out. I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and peel this off some more. Peel this up some more. You gotta be careful at these like sharp cut points so that you don't accidentally just tear it off. So we're gonna carefully peel that, and there we go. Okay, so we got the RAM covers off. Again, I don't know what's holding it down. It's all wiggling, so should be loose. Something is caught somewhere, but I'm not seeing what it is. Let's get this out of the way. Okay. I don't think this screw is holding into anything, but let's take it out just in case. Yeah, no, it's not. But, well, what is holding this thing down? Am I gonna have to remove the, I hope not. Am I gonna have to remove the heatsink to be able to get this whole thing out? Again, I know somebody's gonna be like, you should have like figured out how to take it out before making this video. You can fast forward through and just see if I can actually get this whole thing out. Okay, if I can't, I don't know, I'm sorry. All right, let's actually take this little metal plate off, because I think it's making it so there's not much gap here to be able to lift that. Can I even get under here? The little gap here is like super tiny. I don't think I can even get this under there. Can I? No, not really. Jeez. Okay, there we go. Kind of. Alright, yeah. Not having nails makes this so difficult. Alright, so can we take this out at all? Or is it trapped under there? I think it might be trapped under there. So I don't think we can even take that out even if we wanted to. So, lift. This portion has a raised thing here. So you have to make sure to lift it beyond that, and then we can kind of rotate it. But something over here is caught. Is it? What the? I think there's a hidden screw here. Don't tell me. Piece of poop, HP. You see this? You see that screw under there? Oh, mother. I hate these people. All right, let's go ahead and take the heatsink off. We're going to have to redo the thermal paste. Sadly, I'm going to put this screw here. We're going to have to redo the thermal paste no matter what. So let's go ahead and get this out. The companies that get people to do this, greedy MFers. Okay, anyways, let's get all these screws out. The reason they do that is so if you don't know what you're doing, you destroy the whole computer. Anyways, we're gonna wiggle this to dislodge the thermal paste. Okay, you can see how this is rotating separate from the motherboard, and that will loosen it up and allow you to take this out. And they will put way too much. What in the world? You see all that gunk? What? So I think from factory, they just have a thing plop like these squares and rectangles here. You're not supposed to have all this paste out all the way out here. You see all this stuff here? There should be no paste over here. It's supposed to just be on this. And I guess it's okay that we have to redo the paste because this paste is kind of crunchy. The thing is, I don't know if this computer is going to work because of the liquid spill, so I'm going to end up redoing thermal paste, whether I need to or not, because the computer might not even work. So now we're just going to be wasting paste for no reason. Alright, I'm going to clean this stuff out. Let's zoom in here. See that? Okay, you don't really need to get all this extra gunk out, but we gotta clean the top off here at least. And then I'm gonna use some isopropyl alcohol to clean it up later, but for now, we're just gonna scrape all this extra gunk out. Okay. See all this gunk here? There's way too much paste. They just flood the entire thing. This paste is still pasty, so it's not bad. But, okay, well, use a paper towel, wipe that stuff up. Wow, that actually cleaned up pretty nice without any isopropyl alcohol. Not bad. This side, though, I don't know about that yet. Okay. Alright, we're going to put some isopropyl alcohol on this and just wipe it. And then we got to clean that dust off. Alright, clean that lint away. Alright, anyways, I'm going to scrape the gunk off of here as well. HP. Okay, sorry, I'm doing this off to the side, but basically I'm just scraping this stuff off. This stuff, it seems very similar to like PTM7950 stuff. Alright. I'm just scraping this off. Okay. Alright, so we got that out. We're going to have to clean that up with some isopropyl alcohol. Alright. Move the computer aside, get that in there. And we're just going to put isopropyl alcohol in there and wipe it. You don't want to bend this thing, okay? I know you're probably going to say, like, you can see those scratches there. that's not a problem because that's what the paste and stuff is for. It fills these little grooves and gaps. Okay. All right. I'm gonna put some more and clean that up. All right. And dry it up. All right. So there we go. Got that all clean, minus those scratchies. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead now and actually take the board out. Okay, I guess we'll look underneath this cover anyways. There's one screw here that was hidden. I kind of don't even want to put this screw back, honestly. Is it necessary? No, not really. But that's how it was from factory, so that's how I'm going to put it back. All right, anyways, we'll lift this up. And hopefully now we can take this out. There we go. Do we see any coffee under here? No, not really. What's that? Freaking company's putting this tapey stuff here. Okay, I thought there was some like liquid residue or something, but that's just the adhesive. When you peel it up, it makes like this, it turns white because they put some fibery stuff in the tape that separates. But honestly, I don't see any coffee in there. Okay, let's peel this guy out and see if there's anything under here. Nope, looks fine. Doesn't smell like coffee either. This has a slight smell of coffee in the ports themselves. Okay, I do see some stuff on the HDMI port, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's go ahead and get this line back up and push that back down. Oh, it's not lined up right. Okay, there's no clips on the front, it seems, just on the sides and the back there. Okay, I do see a little coffee residue there. That won't affect anything, but if it's inside the pins, that could affect stuff. I don't see anything on the pins. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and just kind of run a brush in there. So if there's any temporary shorting or something that's kind of going on the pins, we'll clean it out. I did see just like some dust, but nothing that I feel would cause it not to work. So, is the keyboard screwed up? It's possible. The keyboard is held in with screws, but they do have these metal plates on top, and then you have to peel this layer off and then undo a whole bunch more screws underneath. So I can actually see the screws around underneath here. But again, these metal plates have a whole bunch of screws holding it down. Okay. So do I see any other weird stuff in here? Not really. I hope they did not fry the computer when they tried to turn it on after spilling on it. If they're lucky, the keyboard won't be an issue. Let's see. The keys seem okay. I don't know if the coffee they had a bunch of sugar in it. It doesn't seem like it. If they... Okay. It doesn't seem like they had any sugar in there. But yeah, this looks okay. So I didn't even really need to take out the board, because everything in here looks fine. But I mean, should be okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this back in. We do have to get all these little components back on top, so make sure the wireless card ends up back on top. I'm going to go ahead and slide this over, line the USB-C ports and HDMI ports and stuff back up here. This is going to be tricky because you have to kind of slide it at an angle, and we have to make sure that these cables and stuff end up back outside and on top. See how this is going under here? Make sure it goes back out and on top. Okay. And slide it in. Wiggle it around. Okay, you can see these screw holes all line up, so you know it's good. Make sure everything lines up, and make sure all these cables end up back on top, nothing underneath, because if they're underneath, you're not going to be able to plug them in. So use this little thing to pull that back outwards. What's getting trapped? What? Oh, it got stuck under the keyboard or something. Okay, so we got all of that out. Make sure that's lined up with that raised plastic mount. This all looks good. Okay, everything looks okay now. We'll put in the stupid screw that was hidden under here, which again was unnecessary, but because it's there from factory, I'm just gonna put it back in. All right, now let's go ahead and reassemble this thing. It wasn't actually too bad. We're gonna go ahead and make sure this latches up. This cable, you kind of have to, it's gonna be tricky because you have to tuck that underneath, but then you also have to tilt it slightly up. So how do I do this, man? Hold this down. Let me see if I can zoom in to show this, because okay, hold this down. Try and get this centered. Both sides need to go on top of those wings or raised mounts, and then use the wings to push that in if you can. Okay, you see how it has these little wings here, but there's no way to this is so difficult. I wonder if this cable is supposed to be plugged in beforehand. Because I don't think I can plug this in and then, can I plug it in and then tuck this underneath? Let's try, because that'll be easier if we can. So this, take the cable, go in at an angle. Oh yeah, I think that will work. Then, now that those are past the wings, flip that latch down, and then you can go ahead and shove that under there. Yep, that works. Okay, good. I thought that was going to be worse. All right, wireless card. Let's take the screw back out here. Okay, this. Pull it backwards. Oh, such a pain. The antenna cables are so short, so it's making it difficult. Okay, line that up. Okay, go in at an angle. This has to be raised up slightly in the back, and then you can use this raised part there to pull that in. All right, good. Make sure that this raised portion is not underneath the wireless card, because you don't want to screw it down on top and then pinch that. Okay, make sure that's all clicked down. Good. All right, the webcam, microphone cables, or whatever these are. Make sure this connector goes in straight and centered. Then you can go ahead and pinch the two pieces together. Okay, make sure it looks like it's all lined up. You can use this thin tool kind of thing to help kind of pull it. Okay, and then tape that back down. This was under here, not that it matters, but you can tuck it back underneath. Okay, then we got the, okay, let's actually put the fans back in. Actually, do we need to do the heatsink first? Let me get some clean, well actually, we'll just use Kleenex for now because I have that already right here. All right, we're gonna add some isopropyl alcohol and then clean that up again. Just to make sure it's nice and clean. Use the dry end, dry it up. Okay, and make sure there's no lint on it. Get that out of there. Okay. Make sure the heatsink is also clean. Okay, sorry if I was going out of view. clean and dry. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to use PTM7950. It's going to be a little bit of a pain because these things are so tiny, but let's see. All right, so we have these really tiny stuff. Let's see. None of them are cut thin enough, so we're gonna maybe start a new one. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and start a new one here. That's a little bit longer than that. It's shorter. This is not even close. All right, well, we'll start some new one. Here we go. This one will work. Perfect size. All right, so we're just gonna line this up and we're gonna cut it to size here. I'm gonna mark that so I make sure to take the plastic off. All right. And let's go ahead and cut this out. Okay. Cut that. There we go. Alright, so we got the first one. I should actually zoom in for this so you can see better. Alright, we're going to separate the clear portion. Okay, peel that off. Then we'll stick this down. Stick that on. All right, and now we gotta do these tiny ones on the CPU. Okay. Too small. Where did I just cut this? Oh, this is perfect. Okay. This one's a little bit wider, right? Where's this guy? That's actually better. At least for this triangle. Alright, so line that up. And cut that. Okay. Cut this guy. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get this one. Same thing, separate. Okay. Peel that off. All right, and we'll stick that down. There's a little lint on it. All right, stick that down. All right, and then the last bit. A little bit too big there. Don't need the that's actually perfect. Okay. We'll cut this guy out. Then we'll cut this guy out. There we go. All right, that's all the PTM7950 we're gonna need. Let's go ahead and peel this. All right. There's a little bit of dust on that. I need a piece of paper to help try and wipe it off. Go. All right, get that on there. Stick that down. Perfect. All right. So there we go. Now we're already done. We just need to peel this off. Last one. There we go. All right, PTM7950 applied. Let's go ahead and put the heatsink on top. So this goes on this way. Line up the heatsink into here. And onto drop that into there. All right, so they actually number these to make it easy to know which screw goes in first. Okay, so I've got number 1 over here. I like to hear it click first before I tighten it. And then 1, 2. I'm only tightening it 2 times first to make sure all the screws go in. Here, 1, 2. Number 4, 1, 2. Number 5 up here, 1, 2, and number 6 over here, 1, 2. All right, now we're gonna go again, 1, 2. We'll tighten that all the way down. Number 2, tighten that all the way down. Number 3, tighten that all the way down. Number 4, tighten that all the way down. Number 5, tighten that all the way down, and number 6, tighten that all the way down. All right, now we got all of that. We can actually go ahead, we'll reconnect the, oops, sorry, can't even see what I'm doing. We'll reconnect the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery first, line it up, click that down. All right, let's go ahead and get the fan in here. So drop that into place. You might have to go in at a slight angle this way. There we go. Okay. Get this connector, line that up, click that down into place. Right, the speaker wire, make it follow those grooves again, go back into there. All right, and also if you're wondering, you see how this has the exposed metal pins, those need to face up. Line that back up, pinch that into place, okay. All right, what else? Let's go ahead and reconnect the volume button connector here. Get that all the way in and then latch that down. Okay, touchpad, trackpad connector. Make sure the latch is up. Okay, get that in and then latch that down. Keyboard connector here. Get that in. Again, it needs to actually go in slightly at an angle, so you can actually grab the blue tab and then use that to angle it, and then latch that down. Keyboard backlight connector, same thing. Get that in, latch that down. SD card slot. Get that in, put that in place, latch that down. All right, let's get the other fan in now. Again, this you kind of have to tuck underneath because of this. Okay, so get that in, slot it in. Okay, fan connector, line that up. And then click it down. All right, got the speaker connector, same thing. Go into those little grooves. All right, this goes up there, line it up, and then pinch the two together, just like that. Okay, what else? Now we got to get all those screws back in. All right, we had this big flat screw that goes down here between the keyboard and the touchpad, trackpad connector. All right, this fan will loosely fit this screw first. Okay, and get the second one. Loosely fit that screw, and then pull that towards the heatsink over here, and then tighten it down. Just like that. All right, we got the other fan over here. Let's actually go ahead and put the screw up here first. All right, this one up here. And then we have another screw up here next to the wireless card screw. Okay. Now we can go ahead and put the fan screws in. Again, doing the same thing. Loosely fit that first. And this one. Then you kind of pull this over here and tighten that down. Tighten this down. All right, we got a few more things to plug in. We got the SSD. So actually, should we put this first? Let's go ahead and put this, the power button, the headphone jack, and all of that in first. Okay, so get this portion up there in first. Then we'll wiggle that into place. Now it's lined up. We'll get this screw in. Okay, we'll put the SSD in at an angle. Push that in. Lower it down. Again, make sure that the raised portion where the screw goes into isn't underneath the SSD. You'll know because you can't wiggle the SSD around. Okay, you don't want it underneath because if it's underneath and you put this screw in, it's going to pinch the SSD and damage it. So, go get that screw in. Perfect. You can go ahead and get this cable or wire in. Make sure this latches up and this latch is also up. If you're looking, the MB here goes to the motherboard and the AU goes to the auxiliary board. I'm assuming that's what AU stands for. All right, latch that. Pretty sure it's not Australia. All right, get that in, latch that down. Okay, so now we have all of that. Next, we have to, well, we don't, this portion's not really needed, but we're going to put it back anyways. The little RAM cover thingies. All right, let me put the PTM7950 stuff away. All right. Okay, the RAM covers. So, line up one of the side clips and then the front. And then get everything else lined up. Okay. Just like that. Good. We can go ahead and tape this stuff back down. Again, this stuff, the black plastic, it's not necessary. If you take that out and if you leave it out, or if you leave this cover out, it's not going to affect anything. Okay. But anyways, we'll put the SD card back in here because why not? All right, now we'll put the battery back in. We'll pray that it turns on. if it will turn on or not. We'll find out. I didn't see any liquid damage into any of the components, so unless it was shorted and they plugged it in and fried something else that I can't see, then I don't know. But anyways, we're going to line up the battery connector and push that in, pinch it. Okay, good. Get the battery all lined up. We'll get the battery screws back in. Okay, since we did disconnect the BIOS battery, CMOS battery, whatever you want to call it, RTC, real-time clock battery, usually if it does turn on, we're going to have to wait a while for it to completely power on. Sometimes it can take a few minutes, so be patient. Okay, usually you'll at least be able to see the charging light on, so you'll know it's doing something, and the power light. So we'll check for that real quick. All right, we got all the screws back in. Let's go ahead now and plug in the, we're going to use USB-C charging cable. We're going to use an Apple one, but you can use any. So far I see no lights coming on here, so that's not a good sign. This light is not coming on. Let's try the other port. No luck. So sadly, it seems like something is fried here. Flip the USB-C cable upside down and still nothing. Let's see, let's open this up. We'll press the power button. And I still see nothing. Let's try one other thing. We're gonna disconnect the battery here because the battery's inflated. And we can also flip this latch up to disconnect the keyboard. If there's some damage with the keyboard, then maybe it will turn on. Let's plug this guy in. Still nothing. Let me plug this into my phone to make sure that it's actually working. And it is. Charger's working. Let's see what happens if we disconnect the power button. So I flip that latch up. Let's see if we plug this in now. Still no light, nothing. Nothing, no life. No life. So most likely when the liquid spilled in, they tried to plug it in and power it on, and then something on this board fried. I didn't see anything specifically, so I don't know. But sometimes you'll see like a chip or something burnt. I don't see anything. I didn't notice anything when I was taking it apart. So sadly, I don't know. But the main board is likely completely toast. And that makes me regret putting that one screw under there back on, because now I did that, and if you want to take this back out, you have to undo the heatsink again, and then you're going to have to redo the thermal paste and everything, but it is what it is. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, again, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade or repair their devices as well. Sadly, this was not a successful repair. It was just a lot of time put into trying to figure out what was wrong and if it would actually turn on, but no luck. If the customer brought it to me right away and didn't try to turn it on, didn't plug it in, then maybe they would have had some luck. But yeah, if you ever spill anything into your computer, do not try to turn it on. Do not plug it in. You want to actually do the opposite. Unplug it. Make sure it's off. If it's already on, shut it down. Okay, and if you have access to the battery, unplug it. Okay. This bottom cover is kind of gross. I tried to clean some dust off, but it's still, yeah. Anyways, this thing is dead. We're gonna just put it back together. So slide this portion in first, okay? Make sure you kind of slide it up that direction to kind of get everything locked in. and then click all of these into place. Okay, if you can. Let's see. Okay, I might have to use a suction cup to bow it in that way. That way I can actually pull that, push this in. Okay, there we go, that worked. Basically, we lifted up the center so it pulls it in like that, and then that way we could push this in. All right, so nothing else. Let's go ahead and get all the screws back in, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, if you can help out that way, would help a lot. If you can watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. And yeah, again, I have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Same profile picture, but zoomed in. It would help a lot if you could subscribe to that channel. All right, we gotta get these little rubber things back in. This has the little cutout. That's where the screw lines up. Okay, and then just stick it back down. Okay. All right, and also there's this little circle on it that lines up with the circle there. So that's how you would make sure it's all lined up. Okay, stick it down. And we'll get the last 4 screws, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Alright. Sadly, no luck with this one. If it works, usually then at least the charge light would come on, but nothing happens with this, so sadly it's completely toast. I'll have to let the customer know that, and now I need to sleep because I think it's like 4 AM or something. Alright, there you go. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, let's drop this thing. Bye.